Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Mysticons, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hello.
Yes, it is the Mysticons finale today.
Cry, tears, yelling.
Age of Dragons airing this morning on Nicktoons, and we are going to talk about the epic conclusion to Mysticons, and the last 40 episode arc that we have been getting into here. Make sure you have seen Age of Dragons and all previous episodes of Mysticons. Check out all our previous Mysticons podcasts at overlyanimated.com, on iTunes at overlyanimated.com/iTunes, or on our YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. Very somber but exciting occasion here as we're getting into Age of Dragons. So, but let's focus on the exciting here, the excitingness of this finale, Delaney. And what did you think of Age of Dragons?
Okay, so this episode starts, and you have no idea what's going on, but you have this incredible song playing, and everyone's being super metal and making their lances, and you're like, this is so hype! Yeah, we're gonna go get him! Yeah, this is so cool! Oh my god, her mom's there! Like, it's like so intense, it starts, and it's just like this sweet music, and you just like, and like, M is like dumping like molten metal, and like this episode, like, it just starts, and you're like, I'm hype, I'm ready to go, I have no idea what's going on right now, but I'm ready, let's go. And then, like, there's dragons, so many dragons, it's great. There's so much happens in this episode that I'm like, I don't even know where to start. We managed to have, like, dragons, them having cool weapons, having a Gawain, like, B-plot, and then did I mention there's dragons, and then they, like, have, like, there's so much, and then we even have an Urtha, like, redemption. We have, like, so much happens in this episode, and I'm like, is this really only, like, 20 minutes? Because we literally wrapped up the entire show in 20 minutes, and it was awesome, and I'm really sad, and as soon as the episode ended, I was like, I'm gonna cry, like, so hard. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm either gonna cry on the podcast, or, like, as soon as we're done, I'm just gonna be like, oh. So it was really awesome, and we're going to start talking about it, because literally so much stuff happened that I'm like, I don't even know, but like, when it starts off in the music, I was like, this is amazing, like, full stop. They have like lyrics, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to download this song and listen to it later. Amazing, like, and like, the dragons are color, like, they're like, yep, here you go.
That's what we're talking about.
And then we get Dylan's favorite thing, which is an upgraded transformation sequence.
Yes!
Transform. So good. Like, everything about this. The queen's great, even the king's great. He doesn't sound at all like I remembered him sounding. If he even talked before. Like, I'm like, you talk? Like, what? Incredible. Like, yeah. We even have her mom, like, interrupting a kiss between Arcana and Malveron. Like, this episode has everything you could possibly want, except, which is my only complaint of the episode, is where's Kitty? And then we get to the end, and they're like, our story's not over yet. I'm like, ugly sobbing. Like, why are you doing this to me?
Yes, ugly. That did sound like ugly sobbing. Nice. We'll
it's probably 5 minutes.
We'll have plenty of that. Okay, yes, the colored dragons, the most important part of the episode. They match.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You have to color coordinate. It's so important.
Okay, well, a lot to get into here. April, what did you think of Age of Dragons?
Okay, so there was a lot of mixed emotions, because the first time that I watched this episode, I was so distracted by the fact that it was the last episode that I felt like when I watched it the second time, I was like, I missed all of these things, even though I was like, I know what happened and everything like that. But that opening was phenomenal. Like, immediately right off the bat, like, they did the, last time on Mysticons, and then we, like, jumped straight into it, and it was awesome. Like, I was so hyped, like, during that entire sequence. Both times I was like, yes, 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 yes. Like,
yes,
just fist pumping the entire time.
It's so metal.
Like, I'm glad I just watched it by myself, because anyone who would have seen me would have been like, what is this girl doing? This is madness. Because it was amazing, and I love all of the Chaco, and it was, there's I don't know if Delaney mentioned this, but there were dragons.
What?
So many
there
dragons.
An Age of Dragons? What?
I know, it's great. And we had Earth Demption is what I wrote it down as.
Earth Demption, I like it.
Demption, because Urtha is such a sweetheart. And justice for Urtha, because
also thank you for not crushing Stormy.
Yes. Thank you for not. We got to see Stormy again. Definitely didn't see that happen. But
she's still a baby.
Oh, so tiny. Why didn't she go into the portal?
Okay, that's what I wanted. I was like, grow up, do it. And then but I was still also two cute baby dragons. Okay.
Yes. And also, R.I.P. the King Dragon for temporary.
Except JK. Yeah, like I was still sad. I was like, no. And then when Stormy looks back, I'm like, I'm gonna cry. And then of course I'm like, why was I sad? Like obviously he was gonna come back.
No, I was sad too. I was very upset. And then the Gawain was just, it was top notch Gawain. It's
haven't we talked about the Game of Thrones reference? That was that entire scene.
Yes, Hodor.
I know.
Gawain is Hodor.
Also, he should be dead because I don't know how many concussions he had or like how he was not injured during that scene. Like baffles me. But it was just crazy, like this whole episode, because it felt like it was so much longer than 20 minutes, but not in like the bad way. There was like some slow parts of it, but I was okay. Like I was like, this is what we need. Like we're moving this along, but I can't believe it's over.
Not right.
I know. We'll talk about it. Okay.
This is the Mysticons Memorial podcast.
No. We got to be hype about the finale. We'll get there. But, I recommend rewatching this episode because, it's distracting at first that it's the finale. It's like whenever I watch a finale, it's like, okay, how is it going to end? That's exactly
that was, I didn't rewatch it. So I think I also suffered from that because I was, again, like April said, I was so distracted by not only it being the finale, but it's like the actual finale of the show. Because, like, again, like, even with any season finale, you're like, oh, how's it going to end? Like, where are they going to leave us at? But then it was, like, the finale, and I'm like, I'm going to die.
Yeah. I just get caught up in, like, what's the epilogue going to be, where these characters are going to be left at. But yeah, I feel like it took me the third watch to understand, like, how gorgeous and cinematic I think that this finale is.
They were like, we're going all out.
Yeah, like, it really stands out is that, it's just the most, like, the action sequence, the one they have with the Vexicons, I think is the best of the show. It just, the music throughout this episode is phenomenal, and feel like mostly original and just again cinematic. The scene I'm obsessed with is the aforementioned transformation sequence where they say their special attacks and then they defeat the spectral hand, and it's the most incredible like epic score behind it. I watched that scene like 50 times. Like it's incredible. And then the resulting like last montage is also just
so good.
It's like really amazing. Surreal. And I think it is like a good finale for the show. It definitely feels like an end to part one of Mysticons. It doesn't feel like the season 3 finale. Yeah. It's like the end of part 1. But it's also just like, oh my God, it's very frustrating because they're riding dragons. We could have this next season. They're just on dragons the whole time.
The entire time we could have had dragons.
And then you get that and Kitty coming back and like, oh, there's so many things that we could do.
And the show is so incredible and we're right here and they're like, no more. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Right. You just opened the door for so much.
And we've never even had that whole like, oh, the show will get better. It's like the entire time the show has been like amazing. And then it's like, we're done at like the peak of amazingness, or what appears to be the peak, because obviously they're going to keep going and be great, and they're going to ride dragons, but no. They're like, no, Nick, well, we're Nick, we suck, bye. I will buy out your entire stock of Mysticons toys for this show.
Let's do it. buy the toys campaign.
We'll do it.
Pay off my credit card, guys. We got this.
Free all the Chacos. Remember, we got to get that going again.
Yes. Free Chaco.
Chaco is the best Chaco moment of the series. Is in the montage at the end with him with a sword.
He's got the sword. Oh my gosh!
I thought the best when he kissed Piper. I was
that's
like,
also really good. Yeah, that's another great one.
The sword was completely unexpected and amazing. But no, when he kissed Piper, I was like, my heart is like on the floor. It was so good.
That was the sweetest Chaco one. And then he has a sword for no reason. It's like, oh my God, we could have had Chaco with a sword in season 4. Why aren't we getting? Why aren't we getting that?
So frustrating. Like, there are so many things we like. It was like, we have gay, we have mom, we have dragons. Like, why are we doing this? Like, come on.
We finally got all the things we wanted in the last episode.
And they showed Tasma in the montage, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, Tasma would have played a part.
I know.
Kimra. Yeah, but that's definitely a predominant reaction when watching, but also it's just a fantastic episode, one of the show's best. There's so many, it's really incredibly paced and action packed throughout while telling a cohesive story. Their lances, that scene in the beginning is fantastic. The everything in the Valley of the Shooting Stars, everything with, in Dragonhenge. And then just the entire, like, ending sequence. The Gawain B-plot was very good. Him as Hodor is one of the best looks for Gawain, an appropriately epic closeout to, I feel like, absolutely iconic, secondary character, of all time. And, there's just a ton here. It's just a really, really incredible episode. And yeah, Mysticons did really go out with a bang because I feel like, 3 of the top 5 episodes of the show are 3 of the last 4 episodes, and the other fourth is also like a top 10 episode. Like, it's, it really, we just ended on such a high note, and it really elevates the series, at the end here to even more than the incredible show that it was. But yeah, let's get
There's no downhill for Mysticons.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Yeah, well,
because even their worst episodes were amazing episodes. Like,
right. Yeah. Let's get into Age of Dragons. We can reminisce in a little bit. But we talked about a lot of big points. How about the spectral hand being a giant Cthulhu monster?
I loved it.
Okay, it was huge, and I was like, I understand that, like, I should have seen this coming, but, like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, the whole time when it's happening, I'm with them. I'm like, what? Why is this happening? And then it's huge, like Star Whale, Doctor Who huge. Like, there was too many Who sounds. So, like, and it was terrifying. Like, I was like, this is creepy, and I think they did a really good job. Like, you were talking about how cinematic this episode is, and honestly, I think a big part of it is the spectral hand, and I love how we were like, the spectral hand, cool, it's this word we keep saying, and, like, what does it mean? And it's like, there it is, the spectral hand, and I'm like, this is terrifying, like, just straight up, like you said, Cthulhu monster, and it has this red eye, and you can see everyone floating inside of it, which was like, I was like, oh god, I was like, I'm like, ooh, like, this show got dark fast.
Yeah. I should say probably more accurately an eldritch abomination.
Yeah,
if we're getting
our
looks very much like Emrakul from Magic the Gathering.
Right. And they had it, like, all, like, I don't know, like, the way they shot with it, every scene, like, you were always reminded of how massive it was, and it was just so... Like, there's just nothing in the show that looks like it. I know that sounds really dumb because obviously we don't have another giant thing with tentacles, but I mean, like, actually, like, the experience of looking at it, like, the color, it's dark, and, like, the way it moves, like, it's just like, oh my god. It was just, I thought it was so incredible, and I think that's part of what gives this whole, like, cinematic feeling to the episode, was with, like, when you had it, you were just like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, it's the spectral hand. April, what was your reaction to seeing the entire spectral hand come out?
So, first off, I really laughed at myself because I was just like, that's not a hand.
That's
what?
That's not a hand.
I legit had that moment where I was just like,
did you expect it to be a literal hand?
I don't know, because I wrote it down.
We've never speculated like, that before on the podcast.
I love this. It's not a hand.
But I was like, LOL, why did I think this wasn't going to be a hand? Like, that's what I wrote in my notes. And then it like clicked for me that it would be like a Cthulhu type monster with all the tentacles and stuff, and I was like, oh, get it? It's a hand. It wants to touch everything, so it needs as many like touchy things as possible. So why wouldn't it have tentacles? So that there you go. A peek at the mind of April. Ta-da!
Okay.
But I know I agree with Delaney. Like, it totally added to like the overall presence of it. Like, the fact that it was so massive and also that it had sort of absorbed all of, like, the citizens of Drake City kind of thing, and that's what it was doing, was just taking them all in, instead of them just sort of disappearing into the void. So I think that, like, definitely added to, like, the spookiness of the spectral hand and kind of made that, like, that threat very real, because it was not only like, oh, it's absorbing them. It was like, oh, they're disappearing. No, they're being absorbed into this thing to make it stronger and to give it more power. Which was why, like, even when it was like taking that like astro mages and all of them, I was just like, oh no, please don't take them. Stop it. It's gonna take that power. Like, go away. So, but no.
Astromage is the ship.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We were denied the Astromage kiss at the end.
That's true, we were. But look, it's all running through my head right now because I literally like
hands,
Yes, hands.
Yeah. So when you, I actually think this was shocking for me that it was an Eldritch Abomination because we didn't really speculate that it might just be one giant monster. And I definitely agree that like, artistically, how it's like portrayed in the episode is really satisfying. And it's like one of the most, prominent, really like well, displayed, gorgeous, opposing forces that we fought in the show. Probably the ultimate one. The scale of it is really incredible. It like looks really menacing. The music put behind it is incredibly eerie, like way more so than anything that we've seen from the show. And it's fantastic. I think like, maybe narratively, it's, not the most satisfying that, this is what we get. Like, this is the root of all evil in the history of Mysticons. It is very satisfying that it all ties back to the spectral hand and we resolve it. Like, that's fantastic. That's all 3 seasons are, come back to this. I think the initial reaction is like, okay, it's a giant monster when maybe it was like a subversive source of evil from like an ancient, from the universe. Like, I don't know. So it's just a very literal interpretation of what this could have been. Like, this is definitely the most literal manifest we could have gotten of the spectral hand. And I think it's a good thing for the episode itself. Like, I think you do that so they can fight something tangible. That can be
it's very Dungeons and Dragons, which is what we're here for.
Yeah. Are there Eldritch Abominations in Dungeons and Dragons? I don't know.
I feel like there are.
That makes that.
I mean, well, it's just very like, you have like, you fight like the all-encompassing evil. Like the point of Dungeons and Dragons, like when you play Dungeons and Dragons, you're not like, oh, what are we fighting here? It's like the evil inside of ourselves. Like, no, you're like, get all your friends together and go to a dungeon. Yeah. You're gonna fight some giant orc king. Like
is that what you guys do in Dungeons and Dragons? Because my quests are much different.
I mean, to be fair, they always end up being different because everyone starts getting drunk and you're like, oh boy, and like weird stuff happens when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends. But the goal is usually to fight something. Like to get something.
Yeah, yes. It's just really satisfying that it gets blown up. I feel like is the main
really
thing.
Satisfying, yeah.
By dragons.
It reminds me too, like of these things aren't related at all, but like from Carmilla, like the villain, it was like this anglerfish, and it was like this god, and it was just like this dark, deep, evil thing that was influencing everything. And so I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about it. And I think it's just, when you have a show that's like the ultimate good versus the ultimate evil, which is not what Carmilla was, but that's besides the point. Like what we have here is the ultimate good versus the ultimate evil. And it is just like, it's always satisfying to have that physicality. And it's different, in Harry Potter you have Voldemort and he looks like a snake, but of course when you're reading the books it's very different. Like you understand what he looks like from reading the books, but like you have your own picture in your head versus watching the movie. But you still have like, he is the evil, defeat him, it's over. And that's what we have here too, but it's different because like it's actually this very powerful, and I think it makes a lot of sense for the power we've seen in the show, like with Necropha and then what Proxima could do. And then for me, the most satisfying part of the episode, other than like the giant terrifying monster, was when they throw the mask. They finally destroy the mask. It's like, for me, it was finally full circle. Like I was like, yes, it's over.
Yeah, it's such a phenomenal job of like wrapping up all of the things that we've done in the show for like all the villain
and the
things.
Vexicons were so powerful. Like you had like the snow sphere and like that connection to like, they were like, the more powerful it gets, the more powerful we get.
Yeah, it's never like expanded upon to a large extent, but like, the concept of like absorbing the people and then, enhancing their power. Right. I think that's well presented. I think the main things for me is that it's really artistically satisfying and also just, everything, all the villain stuff from season 1, 2, 3, all of it's tied up here at the end. It's like, we're not even getting we're getting cliffhangers in terms of what we could have had, but this is like really like
it's done. Like we wrap up
the story is definitely done. Yeah.
Other than like Kitty. That's it. But she was technically kind of like she was.
I think that was wrapped up.
It was wrapped up, and then
I was gonna say it's also one of those things where it's not like because I hate whenever like shows will present like this big bad that we have, and then we like finally defeat it, but then there's always like that did we though? And so
Yeah.
I think that like that's part of like the satisfaction is the fact that we weren't like they didn't throw that kind of in our face, especially considering the fact that this is the last episode. But like it was nice to like it again, it's full circle. Like everything got wrapped up. It was all pretty and nicely presented to us. And we don't have that like, oh, we defeated the spectral hand, but look over here. Like, no.
Well, we
like,
had done that. I think that's part of what's so great is because we had like Necropha and then it was Proxima. So like we did that. We kind of had like, here's the big bad, here's another big bad. And then finally it was like, here is the big bad that has influenced everything since the beginning of the show. And we did it.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's just very satisfying.
It's
and
a full narrative that we really don't get a lot of times in shows. Like there's always hanging threads. And like really here, like they wrapped everything up. They're like, we're going to lay all this stuff out for you in 3 seasons and we're going to finish it.
Yeah, I mean it's the Avatar from Fire Nation, the beginning to Ozai defeated at the end, like the full like other than that you don't get much of that type of thing. I feel like only like Tasma is the only thing that's not wrapped up, and I don't really think Tasma was a hanging plot thread. I don't think.
No, it was just one of those things that we wanted, but it was never like we kind of like projected it on her. We're like get better, and then. But there was never anything where she was trying to be better, other than the 5 minutes she pretended to be good so she could escape.
Like, we could totally could have done Tasma instead of the Vexicons at the end being the one to ultimately channel the giant evil monster, but I think that would have been less interesting for her.
Well, the transformation for Mallory was, like, incredible, so it was kind of great to... And then, like, the Urtha redemption. Like, I wouldn't trade anything for the Urtha redemption.
We'll talk about that Vexicons. The last thing about the monster is that it absorbs all the citizens were inside it. That's revealed, absorbed. They're not dead, and then they all come back. They all come back at the end.
I'm cool with it. I'm fine.
I'm good with it too.
Yeah, I think it's a nice visual seeing all of them in there, and then
right.
Yeah, I think it would be too dark for the show if it was like, oh, we killed.
They can't, but they're dead. Like, don't do
that. Just kidding. Everyone's gone.
If we kill Thanos, will half of the population come back?
Good question.
Yeah.
I actually think literally the Adventures next year will do this exact same thing. I think it's gonna.
I have my own theory that Thanos is dead. But anyway, moving on.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're not.
We're not going to get
Mysticons. No, Mysticons did it first, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think what's so great, like, and they, even though like at the end they were all fine, and we kind of knew that probably always in the back of our heads, but like it always felt like there were stakes, which is something we don't get, Ladybug, but we actually. Have like it's just so satisfying. Like you're like, it's this giant monster and it ate everybody. Oh my god! And then like they defeat it. It's awesome.
Are you saying that the end of this episode isn't Arcana throwing her hands up and saying Mysticons and then everything going back to normal? That's kind of what happened.
It's kind of what it was, but it was like
it's kind of what happened.
But we literally didn't throw anything up in the air and say Mysticon.
Well,
it's Dragon Hour, and it was like
she said Mysticon Dragon Riders on me, and they flew upwards. So it was kind of that, and then they did
that was Voltron, Dylan. That's what
that is definitely.
I literally thought they were going to turn into a giant dragon.
I thought, oh god,
I don't know what's going to happen in this show. I mean, I was still hoping for the twin dragon thing, but whatever.
I thought was going to happen.
I was like, they're just going to turn it. Like, when Zarya started talking, I was like, yes, fuse with your sister. And then she was like, no. And I'm like, you were so close.
Okay, let's talk about the ending, because they come in on dragons that we've gotten from the Never
They
Realm.
popped out of the portal at first, and it's just the 4 of them. I was like, they put a lot of dragon eggs in there. Where are the rest of them? And the shot, I was like, okay. I was like, guys,
they were taking their time getting out of that bag.
They're coming later. Yeah, we just have.
I was like, this is really cool that y'all have dragons, but like, come on.
We put a lot of effort into collecting as many eggs as possible.
Yeah, but they have their own dragon. Mysticon. Okay, girls, it's Dragon Hour. So
yes.
Great. This is incredible, I think.
It's so good. This is okay, finally, in the final episode, we get the ultimate, I don't know if it's the ultimate. It's between this and Dreadbane going its magic hour. Like, these are the two, like, it's
these
like
are the peaks.
Oh, Tasma, and then Proxima also said those are also highlights too.
It's true. Anyone other than Arcana saying it's magic hour is incredible. But then we get here, it's Dragon Hour. So good. Oh my god.
Yeah, the dragons blasted, they weakened it, but we need to finish it. Mysticon Dragon Riders on me, and then they like go upwards.
I was like, am I watching How to Train Your Dragon? Like, you were like, we're Dragon Riders now. Like, they were like, we're done. 5 griffins. I need a scene of the griffins somewhere like huffing. Being like,
Yeah,
dragons.
I'm concerned about the Griffins. They were an important part of the show.
To them?
Yeah, are they okay? Like, they have names, guys. Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, one's Miss Paisley.
Yeah, Miss Paisley is Piper's. Like, y'all, like,
are we gonna name the dragons? Oh no, we'll never get that.
We'll never get
Miss
that.
Miss Paisley too.
This is what we were.
Piper will call him Miss Paisley too. Yeah,
or Mr. Paisley.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't.
Genderless
I don't know.
Dragons.
Like, this is the real issue. This is what we were robbed of, guys. Was getting to know the dragons' names.
That's not what we were robbed of, but yeah, that's that could have.
So many things.
They go up, and then they launch. We get they're doing like the transformation sequence, except they're saying the special attack name, and then you have the dun like that,
and it's
behind
totally She-Ra. Like they're all holding their lance up in
and
the
they
air.
have their lances, yeah.
So good.
And then they launch the special attacks at it, and then it blows up, and this is
like the female cartoon power in this episode is like too incredible for words.
Yeah, well, that's our job. But yeah, it's I love this sequence so much. I think the score behind it is like the best in the show, and it's just this giant epic moment. I think this is like the show doing its magical girl origins better than it's really, like, in a genuine way, better than it's done ever. Because this is like the big level up moment. Like, we're on dragons. Like, by the way, Voltron, this is how you do the next toy line, thing. Like, you don't just introduce you don't just turn your ship into a giant robot and have it be really stupid. You have like this whole moment of them getting the new things that they're riding. And this is, this awesome, moment, and it being like a climactic scene. And that's the transition into phase 2 of the Mysticons.
Yes.
And you
have an awesome montage.
Yes, with them riding dragons at the end. But yeah, this scene specifically is it's like the most magical girl in the show, and it's like the best magical girl. Like, I think the show's had success parodying a lot of like typical narrative elements before. We're talking about everyone saying it's magic hour. Like, it's more successful when it like subverts like the catchphrase than when it does it normally. This is like a rare moment where I feel like it was like the climactic scene, and it went for it, and it really nailed it.
Like, it took 3 seasons for now we are actually Mysticons, and the whole point of the show is that we're Mysticons riding dragons, and it's Dragon Hour. And I'm like, yes, we're here. This is what I'm about.
We did it.
We did it. It's cool.
Yeah, and it
also, this is the best part of like upgrading. Like, this wasn't like, this felt so earned.
We stuck the eggs in a portal, and then we fast tracked them to get
but like, I don't know, like, we had like, well, the thing was like, it all tied back to like stuff we had done throughout the show, and then they were like, yeah, no, we have dragons, but we need dragons to fight like the thing, and I'm like, I'm cool with this. And then, I don't know, it was just so good. Like, it wasn't like, okay, in Ladybug, they're like, oh, you need to upgrade, or just drink this potion or whatever, like 5 minutes before you need it.
Right. Better than the Ladybug upgrades. Good.
And it's also better than Voltron, where it's like, oh, you need this now in your moment of need, just put it in here and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we made the lances. Last episode we spent getting the thing for the lances. It was great, yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that's that scene, and then
also, it's something different. Like, it's not like we're just gonna upgrade, like, everything. It's like, no, we're gonna give you a lance.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lance is also awesome. Like, I hope with that would be that's another thing we're missing is them.
And they're like knights. Like, lances are cool, but it's also like, this is legit. Like, this is like full on.
The lances of justice.
Yeah.
Like, that's mega. Like, they're like, this is so like, and then they like hold it up. Like, they were being so dramatic talking to the citizens, and I was like, this is the best.
Yeah,
we're giving speeches in caves. It's fine.
It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah,
it was not even a cave, it's a mine. Like, we're like, we're just chilling.
Yeah,
so
Arcana's speech at the beginning of the episode, and they said they're going to destroy the spectral hand once and for all. It was a great moment to kickstart.
Well, and then M's like, in Gemina, and I'm like, yes, we're saying Gemina. This is epic stuff.
Wow,
so
like
good.
1 of 3 times, yeah.
3 times, 3 whole times.
We got to reference it someplace.
Yeah, let's talk about the ending. You get the citizens back. Valmok, he's back too.
Perfect.
It really messes with me that he's talking and his mouth isn't moving. Like, this whole episode, I was like, I can't deal with
He's a psychic dragon.
I just couldn't deal with it. I was like, oh my god.
Finally, the realm is at peace. M is hugging your family. Piper is with Chaco and Doug.
I'm okay with it.
I thought that was cute.
I was okay with that.
I thought that was cute. Alcane and Malvern are interrupted from kissing by
it's
the
so
queen.
good. And they high five. Oh my god.
Yeah. The king is proud of Gawain.
Like, okay, cool.
For all the best reasons, obviously.
Yes.
And then Mom, we do this plot throughout the episode where Arcana is like jealous of she gets her mom back, and then
when she turned to
yeah.
Zarya and was like when her eyes flashed when she was on the Griffin about saying something about like you don't even know her, I was like, you're about to say something horrible to her, and I was like, done.
Yeah,
I had to pause the episode. I was like, Arcana, what are you about to say to her?
Also, what was it? Why was the mom like riding around with him anyway? And then the part that got me was the fact that she already knew that like they were fighting in the middle of all of this, and then she was just like, Zarya, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
like, you're
such a warrior.
Your daughter.
Yeah, right. Like, can you not be like such a fangirl?
That's why she apologizes at the end to Arcana. But yeah, Arcana, I love this that we weaved this character stuff throughout this giant action set piece. I think that was incredibly successful because this is such a huge moment, is the deboning finally, and Arcana gets her mom back and dealing with Zarya being too, and this like had to be addressed, even though it's like the last episode, it had to be addressed in some way. I think it's done really
also
well.
Like it held the pacing. Like this really held the episode together because like this is how we had our slower moments, and they wanted them to just get hit in the face, and they were like, oh my god, we have to fight again, and like it worked really well. Like it was just this really what held the episode together because it was just incredible. Like the way this episode is structured and how they got everything in was just so good, and like this is the center of the episode. Like that's how it kept everything together, and I just think it was done so well.
Yeah, I think this is interweaving the character moments into other stuff happening is maybe something we potentially didn't do. This is what I wanted from like Zarya's reaction to everything. So like seeing it here is very satisfying. It's just like the queen's there the entire time. By the way, she was the fifth Mysticon all along. Was the mom? Yeah.
Also, like it was really satisfying to hear her like compliment Zarya the entire episode. I was like, yes, you tell her that she is so
that's
good.
your daughter.
Yeah, it was so satisfying. Like every time she said something, I was like, yes, she is. And then it was so funny.
Zarya was eating it up, and it was adorable.
It was so good. And then of course Arcana's just getting mad the whole time. And I'm like, this is the best. Like it was so satisfying the entire time.
Yeah, it's an appropriate capping and ending to this. One of the best plot lines of the show, this Zarya sister twist and resulting strife and how it relates to Proxima and then bringing mom back. It's the entire second half of the show has been completely centered on this structure, and it's like an appropriately great conclusion. I think this is one of the things we're going to remember Mysticons for, is the incredible execution on the Zarya sister twist.
It's so good. Like it's like, it's like, oh, whatever, secret sibling twist, but like they do it so well, and they do it in a way that's like it's so different. And then like I am here for sibling relationships. Like if there's sibling relationships, sold. And they do it so well. And there's like the whole build up of like, why are they like, we know Zarya's gay, but it's not for Arcana. What's going on? And then it's so good.
I was so sad when we found that out.
Darn it.
Yeah, we'll look back on all our greatest moments here. Us shipping Zarya and Arcana in the beginning of the show. That was our big ship in the first podcast, I think.
To be fair, I'm like OG. Like, I was like, Zarya Kitty forever. Like,
Zarya and Arcana are the red and blue. Like, how didn't it happen? Yeah. It happens in every other show.
To be fair, they're also kind of green and blue.
Yeah, unclear. But then no, we did. We brought the whole Kitty. Okay, we don't even need to get into Kitty. We'll get sidetracked here. What do we think of Mom with them the entire episode? Yeah, her complimenting Zarya. It's really good. Just seeing her reaction to having
it's so satisfying
Zarya in her life.
Yeah,
and then when they
we
start
got to like interact with the mom. No.
Yeah. It's she's like riding with Zarya the whole time.
She's like backseat heroing the entire time.
Backseat heroing.
Yeah. That's the ending. We get the theme song. That's the only way you can end the show is with the theme song.
Yeah,
honestly. The theme song is the best.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I'll never get tired of hearing it.
I'm just so heartbroken by this show. Like it's so sad.
We get this sequential narration and this like denouement to the series.
I loved it so much.
So let's go through it. So with the spectral hand finally destroyed, its tendrils of evil released their grip on the realm, and the mask that caused so much pain and suffering was finally destroyed. We talk about putting the mask in there. We see the king queen on the throne, which I think is really notable.
Yes.
No more Gawain being king. They're back and they're ruling.
Thank God.
Right.
But some of the darkness remained because it never really goes away, and we see Kimra and Tasma
LOL, Kimra.
Yeah. I thought that, like, that scene where, like, Kimra was, like, flying off and then you see, like, Tasma on top of the building, I was just like, whew, this... Like, I thought
so
that looked
good.
really good.
It did. And then Tasma, like, disappears, and you're like, yes.
Mhm.
It would have been
Like,
really
yeah.
interesting to see what we do with Tasma.
I know.
Because we chose to do nothing with her this last. We chose to keep her in a snow globe. So it's like, what was that? What was that?
No
sort
man,
of stuff?
Chef, does she miss him?
Yeah,
Does
that's the
she
real
miss it?
burning question. Where's Snowman
No,
Jeff?
she secretly still has the snow globe.
She's got a tiny, like a
What if in
tiny
this scene
pocket-sized
she just was
version.
holding the snow globe while
Oh
she was
my
looking all
god,
menacing?
I'm crying thinking about it.
Like, oh my god, so emotional right now.
It probably would have been too tacky, but like, what if we did
No,
that?
it would have been the best.
Nothing is too tacky for this show.
I
No.
know. Oh, I'm so sad.
So you say you just hope that you can help bring the darkness into the light. We see M with Urtha. After we got Urtha Demption, we'll talk about that. Life returned to normal in the city. In the realm, we see Gawain diving into a pool. He's back to just being the nonsense he was in episode 1. Probably
Okay
good
with
for
it.
him. Yeah.
Best
Um,
character arc ever.
Did he grow? No, but it's
No.
fine.
Absolutely not.
well, well, okay, we'll get into him
No,
with the
he didn't
Hodor.
grow.
Sort of, kind
He
of,
kind
almost
of
grew.
grew, yeah, which is basically what he said in the episode. The old ways gave way to new. The most relevant plot thing here, which is Proxima is the new head of the Astromancers.
I am so mad. Like, you're gonna, like, so mad. Like,
Why are
this
you
is-
mad about this?
Because it's over. And I'm like, Proxima, like, to be fair, I kind of saw this, this is an obvious thing that was going to happen, but I love it. Like, it's so good. And then, like, I mean, the worst part about it is that Novateron gets in the car, and I'm like, you don't deserve her. Go away.
Novateron goes off with Auntie Yaga. What? They're cute. They're cute.
No, they're not.
I thought it was cute.
They're going
No.
off on their interdimensional adventures. Yeah, Auntie Yaga can have
Together.
But, like,
Novateron if she,
Proxima-
for some reason, wants. Yeah, Proxima in charge. She has the Codex there with her.
So good. I'm like so about it. This is I mean, it's not quite as emotional, but like when Jinora gets her tattoos, like this is peak of life for Proxima, and it's so good.
That could have gotten its own scene like that, yeah.
Yeah, like I would have
Proxima's
loved it, and I
ascension
probably
into-
would have bawled like a baby like I did when Jinora got her tattoos, but
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, it's this is a great advancement. This is another thing that really makes you want to see what's next. Is
Yes,
Yeah.
with her in charge, that would have been great.
yeah, I think it's a great conclusion.
Like
to
this
her
is the
character.
best epilogue ever. Like it's so good.
It's a really really good epilogue. Yeah, we normally get
know.
fairly unsatisfying epilogues in Finite's Adventure Time. Also had a recently really good montage to end the show. So it's some good things at the ends of these here, and then we see the Mysticons riding dragons.
Of course.
Our quest isn't over. It's just getting started. That's right. Me and my sisters are on to new
Cries,
adventures.
sobbing.
New quests to bring peace and love and justice, peace, love, and justice to the
The
realm.
realm.
Sobbing
Oh.
on the floor, dead.
And
Right
then
in the heart.
The dragons breathing fire and
get-
Chaka with the sword, most important,
Yeah,
on top of
with the sword.
Zarya.
And then we
Yeah.
still get the train, and I was like, chills.
Oh yeah, the train that started it all.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
no.
what
and they were
was,
like,
what was your
"It's
reaction to the ending,
starting."
Delaney, when you saw
Oh
it?
my god! Well, I'm just like, this is so good. Like, it's so bittersweet, and that's really what it is. It's so good. It's such a good ending, and then they're like, "We're not done," and I'm like, "Yes, you are!" I'm like crying, and it's so, it's just so painful. Like, this show is so good, and like, this is a great ending. Like, if the show has to end here, like, it is an incredible ending. And everything's wrapped up, and I love this show so much, but it just hurts so bad. And it's different from, like, when Gravity Falls ended, it was over. Like, the summer's over, it's over. But then here, like, it's like they're just beginning, and it's like, oh my god, I'm so mad. Like, it's just so bittersweet, and I love this show so much. And I honestly, and I don't even think it's just because it's ending, but I have had such a reaction to this show, even in comparison to Avatar and Korra, like, just who I am like right now, and knowing that girls are growing up watching this show that's about it's for girls, and one of them's gay, and they're superheroes, Dungeons and Dragons, sci-fi fantasy, and like it's so great. And the stuff they do in the show is so amazing, and then it's ending right here. But we had 3 incredible seasons. Like, it's just, I love this show so much.
Yes.
And I just want to cry.
more on that to come. April,
this
what was
whole
your...
week, I'm just like, Tanya, I'm gonna die.
I know. April, what was your reaction to seeing the ending?
It was No, I agree. It was bittersweet. I wanted to cry. I think I did tear up on the second time watching because like it wrapped things up so nicely. And like some shows will end and they just have like terrible endings and like they're not satisfying in any way, shape, or form. They don't answer anything. They don't tell you what's going on. They don't give you any kind of hint or flash, and it just ends. And this one it's doing that, but it's like it's giving us something and not continuing on is just, it's so heartbreaking because the show is just so, it's been so well done from the beginning. And like, even though they kind of did like that, like, look at all these possibilities kind of things and our adventure's just beginning, it's like your adventure isn't beginning and I need it to continue and you're not. And I agree, like the show's just super empowering for like girls, and there needs to be more shows like this where like the main character is a girl. They're not being tied down by any kind of men except Arcana and Malveron, but that's a different story. But even then, like, she was such an independent character of like her male companion, and that like even like the villains were all like women, and like everyone was powerful. And I love that it was like Dungeons and Dragons sort of themed with like the sci-fi and everything like that. And I just I'm getting worked up right now.
Yes.
Like
me too, girl. It's like, okay. I am like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think the good thing, at least the solace, is that there are going to be there are so many female-led shows upcoming that it's Mysticons' legacy will live on. You know, She-Ra, Hilda, the Disney shows, Owl House, Amphibia. You've got, we have even more than Infinity Train. We have a ton of them coming up. So,
and we still have shows that are here, like Star versus the Forces of Evil.
Yes, although ending, but it's just one of many, and it's been a really resurgence in female-driven animation content that's been wonderful. I think Mysticons is the best example, like the show with all female leads, and it's been fantastic. Yeah, the ending's so good. I love montages, and this is grade 10, and then riding off into the sunset with their dragons. Love the Proxima thing especially, but everything in the ending and the theme song, it's a fantastic way to end the show. Other things we even talked about, the Vexicons, and the Earthdemption. Yeah, so Urtha gets this big moment. Won't stand
so
for your
happy
evil
for her.
Why are you happy for her, April?
Especially after, what was it, Heart of Stone, whenever like they very much like presented the possibility of her being like good, and not just being like a part of the Vexicons and everything like that. And then like I felt bad. Like every time they treated her terrible in this episode, like it made me angry, like red hot angry. And I was just like, Urtha, no, you are better than this. You deserve better than this. And I was like cheering her on inside my head the entire time, because like even in Heart of Stone, like we wanted better for her, and we finally kind of get that, even though like she had to like get it in like a terrible way. But like whenever she like had she had Stormy and the eggs in her hand, I was like, this is gonna be it. Like she's gonna turn on the Vexicons. Yeah. And I was like so hyped for it, even though like, I mean, they set it up the entire episode, and I was like, yes, please turn on her. And even whenever like she didn't like immediately like, well, she didn't destroy Mallory, but like
sad.
When she didn't, sad,
destroys her hair.
I know, and I thought that was great because I didn't expect Urtha to like destroy, like take her out or anything like that. But when she destroyed her hair, I was like, yes, you take Mallory out in her own way, like because she is nothing without her hair. Like, yeah, ruin her, drag her, not by her ice hair though. So, but it was so like satisfying to have like Urtha be like redeemed in that way, because she earned it. She earned it. Proxima earned it. Like, it was good. It made me feel really good to have that, because I would have been kind of sad if they had been treating her terrible like the entire episode, and then she still like was by their side and then had to be imprisoned and everything like that. That would have been awful. I would have been upset.
Yeah. I think everyone was talking about Urtha Redemption. The show did a whole episode on it and it didn't happen. And I don't know, who knew that the pivotal moment in the plot of the show, this is the moment that decides that they're going to win. It comes down to Urtha betraying them. I did not see that coming, even though it was like a big moment that we built up a lot. It being like so pivotal, I think was surprising to me. What do you think, Delaney?
I was really shocked. Like it was like I was like, yeah, like while it's happening, you're like, yes, this is what I wanted the whole time. But it was like I definitely like it felt like one of those things where like, oh, we tried and it was cool and we kind of had the thing going, but we just kind of gave up on it. But then throughout, we had multiple moments where Urtha really seemed to doubt, and then here it is, and it was honestly such a powerful moment. And I wanted to say that, like, this is also just an important kind of message to girls. And you're like, right now, you're like, what the heck is Delaney talking about? But like growing up, like this is kind of very particular to girls. When you grow up and you have friends, and sometimes, girls are mean, like straight up mean, and like people are mean. That's but true. Like when you grow up and you have a friend group of girls, like they can be horrible to each other. And like sometimes they all kind of pick on that one girl in their group. And, you're kind of hanging out with girls and you want to be their friends, but they're awful to you. And this was me. Like, I was that kid who was like, they were just kind of awful to the whole time. And like this message like that, you don't deserve that. And like, you shouldn't have to put up with that. And like, there are people who like can see that you're worth something and that you're great. And especially like when all the Mysticons, and this has happened like throughout the show, the Mysticons speaking up for Urtha, but in this scene where they're all frozen and they're speaking up like, like they're not even talking to Urtha. Like they're in the back and they're like, why would you do that to her? Like she's great. She has like they're like talking about all these qualities about Urtha, and then Mallory laughs. Like that hit me so hard. Like from like how it was when I was growing up, and like this message of like because it's literally like we talked about and they're like the mean girls. Like it's the good girls versus the mean girls, and it's just so incredible. Like this redemption arc, like it really means something. It's not just. It's cool, redemption arcs are always fun, but like this really like as a show for girls about girls, like this is an incredible message that you really don't get a lot. Like you always have like the mean girls are bad, but you don't have this where it's like there's the mean girls, but they're friends and they're mean to other people, but they're also mean to each other. And like what this is, like it's incredible, and I'm so glad that it's here. Like this is something I would have really needed when I was growing up, and I'm so glad that it's here and like you could see it. And I'm about to start crying, but it's so good. And like, it was done so well. And Urtha's like an incredible character, and like just everything they did, and especially with kind of like also the relationship between Urtha and M, like it's just so good.
Yeah. That's fantastic analysis. It's a really great moment. And this Urtha scene where she refuses Mallory, so like cinematically and epically presented, this like this like booming line read, that's like impactful. So maybe like the show like goes huge on dramatic moments, and I think this maybe is like the most like over the top the show has gone with this Urtha refusal. And I think it's like very successful because of this whole scene is framed so cinematically, and also the show just like goes like straight into these. They go all out all the time. So yep. I think it's great. Yeah. I think ultimately this like they give this Urtha arc within the Vexicons absolutely the spotlight to shine here in this prominent placement at the end, and it does really tie it all together and bring it make it a great arc. The rest of the Vexicons throughout are like kind of supporting the spectral hand. We have the opening scene of them in the ice sphere, and the Mysticons plan to like electrocute them with the rain inside, which I thought was really clever.
I was gonna say
also brutal, savage,
right?
Yeah.
My favorite is when what's her face goes, "Oh, I get it," and I was
that was really good. I'm like, you're so dumb.
Yeah, it was.
I don't like. That's all you're gonna say about it? Like you're not even gonna try?
Even Mallory's like, huh, and then it happens.
Yeah, it's a great sequence. Hot air from M's like things that she's used throughout.
Oh, I totally didn't get it until she said it either. I was like I thought she was like gonna freeze them in there. Like I thought they were like I don't even know what was gonna happen, and then I was like, oh boy,
Yeah, and then lightning from their lances. It's really good. And then as discussed before, the battle sequence in the Valley of the Shooting Stars, I think it's probably the best fight scene of the show. It's really, really good. Them fighting their counterparts, except for Urtha, and like Urtha being like pushed around and stuff. It's really excellent. I think the use of the Vexicons here is really good in this finale, in a role like we didn't necessarily think was coming, but like I think was really successful. They're imprisoned at the end, except for Urtha, who friends with M's like helping repair her. Good. I think a great send off for the Vexicons here.
No, I think it was done really well. And again, I think this is just one of those things where, like, we talk about representation in media, and like what's really important is like it's not just like having representation, but being able to tell those stories that aren't told in white straight male media.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we tell so many different types of female stories here in the show. And we talked about it before, like how many just side female characters they keep introducing. And it's like continued consistently throughout the series, ending with the prominence of the Vexicons here. Yeah, it's so good. Okay.
I'll say went to jail. Something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I mean, they didn't die, but that's serious consequences.
Consequences. Go to jail. Bye. Also, their children. I don't want to talk about it, but like they went to jail.
Okay, one of my many season 4 headcanons already. Piper visits them in jail.
Oh, absolutely! And she gives them like a harmonica, and she's like super annoying. It's great.
Yeah, and then her and Willa become BFFs. Okay.
All right.
Transaction. Honestly, the ending of the show just made me like I started immediately listing ideas for like a Mysticons season 4 fanfic. Like that's
fair. That's obviously what we should do.
I think that's how you know your ending is good, when it like it inspires.
That's how we continue these discussions.
We just write fanfic every episode. It's like, okay, we're just a podcast. Chapter 1.
Dramatic reading of the Mysticons fanfics. Okay.
Gawain,
he gets this Hodor moment with closed door at the end.
I was done. I was like, oh my god.
That was too much.
He purposely gets hit by the centaur poison to not feel any pain.
He asks them to, and I was like, what are you doing?
No, and then when he pulls his tail though, I was like, nice.
Right?
This is such a good climax for Gawain. Like I think Gawain is like super prominent in this episode, but I think it's deservedly so. I think like we recognize that Gawain is like ultimately one of the most memorable characters of the show, and he gets like basically the entire B plot here. And
I felt so bad for his dad though, because his dad's like, Gawain, it's time for you to be a hero. And he's like, and you're going to do this. And I was just like, you don't know Gawain at all, do you?
No, and he's like Gawain, and he was like, yeah, he'll step up, he'll rise.
He'll rise.
Yeah. I'm like, no, he's not. What
he did. He closed the
after like the whole episode.
Yeah. And then what was it? He was like, son, help me close this door. And I was like, he's not going to, you think he's going to help you close the door? Like, no.
Though I did really like when his dad was like down. He was like, Dad! Like, that was good.
Yeah, he had great moments with his dad. Yeah, this Hodor moment, though, this is like...
I love how he has like the perfect, most supportive dad in the world, and Gawain's still like this.
Yeah, no, he's a sweetheart at heart, as we know.
Okay.
Yes.
No support for that? Okay.
I will say the funniest part of the episode, though, is like when he's like trying to be a baby. That was the best.
Yeah, so we have Gawain was trying to get into the mind first, goo goo gaga. And then he also says, I think we pretty much established that I don't care about people.
That was really good.
That was great.
It's so good.
Gawain, self-aware.
He also says, Dad, the little horse paralyzed my face, in that voice. He's so good in the finale. Yeah. What you got in terms of the ultimate fantasy references that Mysticons makes in the enter? Do you want the Han and Leah, I love you, I know in Princess and the Pirate, or the closed door Hodor moment with Gawain here in the finale? Game of Thrones and Star Wars references.
I mean, Star Wars will always be Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. But then also like Zarya staring her dead in the eye saying, I love you is like the most magical thing to ever happen in the world.
That's true.
So we got this.
But I will say, hold the door.
Star Wars trumps it. True. But in terms of comedy, that was really great.
This is like the most blatant Game of Thrones reference. Like, it's so good. And like, I was like not anticipating. Like, I was like, if I had to pick a show to reference Game of Thrones, it was not going to be Mysticons. Like, of all the shows we cover, I was not going to be like, yeah, Mysticons is going to reference Game of Thrones.
We already had Game of Thrones references with Zarya's hit list earlier.
Right. But like, no, it's so good though, because like, even though it's so dumb and it's a parody, it works really well.
It's also just this played straight dramatic moment.
And that's why it's so good.
It's really, really successful. Yeah. There's a great send off to a great character in Gawain here. It's a ton of incredible stuff this finale. Let's go through anything we missed with these small moments here. We had Willa says Glee Club's here in the beginning.
I mississed that. That's good.
Glee Club's here, yeah.
Love it.
Is that what she said? Because I couldn't understand her, and I'm
pretty sure that's what she said. Glee Club, yeah. We talked about the kiss from Chaco.
So good.
Still cute.
Yeah.
Pure.
I don't know why Piper had to say that line after what's her name said it. Kasha said it earlier.
The cat, yeah.
But it was also very Zarya.
Oh, we also had the mom going
cat.
does she always make cat punch?
Yeah, does she always make cat punch? Pretty much.
So good.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Piper says, what's up with the creepypasta?
I know.
Yes!
I forgot. How did I forget about that? When that happened, I was like, did that really just happen?
I can't believe they said creepypasta.
I think this is the first time I've ever heard someone verbally say creepypasta. And then the fact that I I know the Game of Thrones reference was incredible, but when that happened, I was like, what am I watching? I am watching a cartoon for children, and they just referenced creepypasta. What? The only thing that could be better than this is if we had the Mysticon version of Reddit. That's the only thing.
No, please don't wish that upon the world. No,
I mean, I agree with you. I don't want it, but that's the only thing that would trump this.
Yeah, we keep saying Trump, and we were talking about Gawain earlier, but let's move on from that. But it's the creepypasta line was that was what, really? We just said that. We talked about the dragons, of course, a lot with Valmok and Stormy.
Also, we leave up this epic thing, dragons of light, and then we're bye forever.
Yeah, the dragons of light are back. So much we could have done with the dragons. Yeah, I wonder how do they integrate into human society?
Where do they end up living?
Yeah, are they living on dragon hens? Do they is a dragon in the palace? I guess their dragons get kept there, but
Valmok is the most dramatic dragon, I guess, ever. And he's the light spreads and all this stuff, and I'm and we're done. Really? I'm ready for this dragon nonsense.
Yeah, it's I love the use of Valmok, and Stormy and Chaco get a moment. It's they're great.
So
Valmok heroically saves them, and then sacrifices himself, but then again comes back at the end.
Also, we didn't have that dumb I'm not going to help you thing. He was yeah, I'm going to help you. It's just their babies.
Yeah. He's I'm more than happy to. Just eggs everywhere.
Yeah, but we throw them in the Everrealm, and they grow faster and come out.
Also, they threw a bunch of eggs into a purse, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's the portal bag.
I'm
we've
taking
seen several
all the
times
right now. I have to go right now immediately.
The portal bags have been very prominent throughout the series, and we get them again here. Yeah, it's a good use of that too.
Great purchase, I must say.
That was definitely their best purchase. The centaurs, they talk about the spicy aioli of defeat.
Oh my god,
it was so good.
I died whenever they said that, because they were we're gonna skewer that overgrown calamari, and then he'll shriek in the spicy aioli of defeat, and then they start chanting it, and I was
aioli of defeat,
aioli of defeat.
I'm just this whole we have these tiny centaurs, which again is the funny, it's so good. It is just the gift that keeps on giving. Is just the tiny centaurs, and then they're yelling. They're Roman centaurs, and they're yelling aioli. It's so good. Why? Why are we saying aioli and creepypasta and all of these things in the show? But it's so good having tiny centaurs yelling aioli. I didn't, never would I have been this is what I need in my life, and here it is. Mysticons providing.
Yeah, it's a good send-off for one of the best fantasy elements in the show, the Centaurs. We had a lot of small send-offs for a lot of really prominent elements here. No Snake and Serena. That's okay.
Tragic, honestly. Really tragic.
Our fave Snake. No snakeless finale.
We didn't even get to see them, being absorbed by the spectral hand.
I know.
What would have Snake have said when he's absorbed by the spectral
He would have said, okay, I don't know. It would have been something really good, though.
Yeah, whatever it would have been great.
We'll talk about that in the Discord where Snake is our fave. But yeah, okay. So, Delaney, anything else from the episode? I think I covered everything.
Yeah, I think that's really it. Because there was so much.
Yeah, look.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all. That's it. We covered it.
I'm done. We're gonna have 4 more podcasts. Don't worry, guys.
No, yeah.
It's
Don't
just
worry,
us
everyone.
crying for 2 hours.
Yeah. April, anything else from the episode?
Oh, we literally covered everything.
I don't want to be done.
Yeah, I know. I don't want this to end.
Yeah, if you have not heard, this is, as of now at least, the series finale. Ivana and Nick have not picked up more episodes of the show, and this is I guess our last Mysticons podcast. Maybe
this is the most tragic thing to ever happen in my life.
I know. I'm so upset right now.
I know. I'll say that. I think this has been an incredible experience. I think covering the show with Delaney and April, you two. We've done this a year ago. Like a year and a month, we did the first episode, and
I remember.
For the record, when they announced this show, I was like, "Oh my god, this sounds amazing!" Dylan's like, "This sounds dumb," and then he comes back. Like,
no, I was very eager to.
Dylan was just like, April, I need you to watch this show. Like, I want you to watch this show.
I was like, this is an April show. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Dylan talked a little crap when I announced it. He was like, "We'll see," and then he comes back and he's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "I'm gonna fight you right now."
Yeah, I was instantly, we saw the trailer, then the first episode is online, and we were sold, and we podcasted on it. And, this is like such a unique experience on this podcast. We've never really had, almost weekly for an entire year, 40 episodes within like a year and a month, and covering them weekly on the podcast.
This might be, I could be wrong, but like covering a show start to finish.
Yeah.
Like not counting Avatar and Korra, but that's not us, but...
Yeah, I think so.
Literally, this show started.
Gravity Falls and Adventure Time started before the podcast. We covered their endings,
and we've covered. This is our show. Like, this is kind of our show. Like,
baby. Yeah,
it's our baby. Like, this show started, and we're like, everyone watched the show.
Podcast that was covering the show too. Remember?
Well, yeah, we built this community, a small community around the show, and it's been incredible watching all the episodes. I think this is the best show experience I've had on the podcast for sure. Just even just from the weekly, but also just like one of my favorite shows ever.
It's just so for me, I love it, and even I love Korra, I love Avatar and Gravity Falls and all these shows, but this is I kind of felt for the first time this show was made for me. Like that kind of thing where it's a show about girls for girls. It's sci-fi Dungeons and Dragons, and then my favorite character's gay. What's there not to love about this? It has everything that I could have wanted from growing when I was just growing up. If I could have had a show like this when I was an 8-year-old girl, oh my god.
I know, it would have been amazing. All I had to do, or what is it? When I grew up, all I had was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers.
That's still on.
These are
no, it's not until it died.
Never gonna. Yeah, why couldn't that have been Mysticons?
But yeah, I remember fighting with my brothers because, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I wanted to be one of the turtles, and they were like, "No, April, you have to be April."
Oh my god, that's the worst.
But my favorite part was, it wasn't because we had the same name. It was because she's the girl. And I was like, ugh.
April had to be April.
I will say, I was always lucky I never had that problem, because I was always a boy when I played with my brother, and he didn't care because I'm older and I'm in charge of our games. But
I'm the oldest. That's the worst part.
That's not even fair. Just bully them.
Yeah, it's been personally meaningful, I think, to you two and me and so many of us who love the show.
And it's just incredible, just visually, and the music in the show.
The music was great. I was never bored. Start to finish, it was just insane.
Our baby.
It is our baby. I remember, I'm still excited about this show. I still tell people about it. I'm like, oh, you need a new show to watch? You should watch Mysticons.
Yeah, me too. I'm watch this show right now.
Yeah, I really hope it ends up on a prominent streaming service at some point. Even if we don't get more
even
episodes,
if it's just this, yeah.
Yeah, just I think these 40. I don't
also,
know.
I want to rewatch it.
Me too.
I hope yeah. It's incredibly it'd be really bingeable if we get on Netflix. And I hope it's not disappointing to people who made the show that it just stopped after 40, because I think what it is for these 40 is absolutely fantastic. And
no, that's what they have made an impact. That's the thing. This show has done something, and even we're so sad it's over just because it's so great, and we love it. But this is incredible what they have done. This show, everything that it is just amazing, and it's honestly a masterpiece of a show. I start to finish, the show is amazing. you know, maybe there's some episodes that's not like our favorite, but like, I mean, I really don't think there is a legitimately like bad episode of the show. Like, it's the characters are amazing, the journey you go on with these characters, the character development, the side characters we have, the plot, like the music, the animation, like everything about the show, like the heart and soul of the show is just so incredible and meaningful. And we cover animation. That's what we're about. And this is like, I mean, I will never forget this show. This show is amazing. Like, I just absolutely, I did not anticipate falling in love with this show the way I have. And that's why it's so horrible that it's ending and like sad. But it's so, like, this show is amazing, and I'm glad it's here. And if we only get 3 seasons, like, these 3 seasons have been absolutely incredible. Like, oh my God. Like, everyone has done such an amazing job.
Yeah, really just...
Like, we are privileged to have gotten to watch it. Like, it is so good.
No, really. But, and, like, what is it? Like, seriously, like, thank you to Sean for creating the show, because it's just... it's incredible, and I need you to create other shows, because even though this one's done, just what you've done with one single show, like I look forward to any other projects that you could possibly be on, or if you can get this show to come back, I want that.
More that number one, but
that one number one. But if you like go on to any other things or create any other thing, like you've got my Twitter, you know how to get a hold of me.
Why would they need to get a hold of you?
And like, you created a show
so they can
for
tell
your
me,
daughter.
so I can hype it. Like,
okay. Yeah, to Sean and Matt and everyone else who made the show, we've interacted with like a ton of them in the Mysticons community. Like, thank you so much for making this show. Like, it really meant a ton to us and to everyone else involved in the community. And I think,
and we can tell it meant a lot to you, like to you all, and like. I mean, I do feel bad. I don't remember, I don't remember if it was Sean or Matt, but the tweet about your daughter, like, that really moved me. And like, you made a show for your daughter, like, that's what you did, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and to everyone in the Mysticons community on our Discord, everywhere else, like, it's been a great experience watching the show, and we'll keep talking about it.
Oh yeah, we're not done. Yeah. We're gonna keep yelling about it. Delaney's downloading Discord. It's happening. I'm getting back on
just
Discord.
For the Mysticons channel. You'll need the 9 Choco emojis, and I'm gonna add the Choco with the sword, so it's gonna be 10 Choco emojis.
It's just gonna be me and Zarya the whole time. Oh my God! You have to have Choco and the sword.
I also have the moon faces close together. You have to see all of them, Delaney. But yeah, it's just thank you to everyone and everyone who listened to our coverage of it. I think it's really been a great experience, and looking forward to continuing to talk about the show with people. We'll rewatch the show for sure.
Write fanfic with each other.
Yeah, we'll get the season 4 fanfic started. We'll see.
Get the graphic novels.
The part 2 and 3 of the graphic novels are coming. Even if we don't get anything else, like, it's the part 1 on its own is fantastic, and
it's on my it's in my Amazon shopping cart.
I thought you bought it.
Bought.
I didn't have money yet. No, I didn't know you couldn't buy things with PayPal on Amazon. What the heck?
Anyway, that's how the internet works. Okay. So, well. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Let us know what you think of the finale comments. Of course, we will cover a bunch of other shows. Find all that at overlandminute.com. We mentioned the Discord at overlandminute.com/Discord. Support us via Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast. Very appropriately, I did not manipulate this. One of the biggest Mysticon fans in the world, Hugh, aka Hugh Neutron. Hugh's made many of our emotes on Discord.
Now I really am gonna cry.
I'm like legit crying. It's fine.
Thanks to our page executive producers John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Hugh. More Mysticons on the Discord. Maybe one day we'll be back to talk about it in whatever capacity. But yeah, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.